Did you know I have my own merch website? That's right, KaseyGolden.com. Get yourself enamel pins, stickers, and prints. That's right, my own merch. Visit it at KaseyGolden.com. I had previously done this with gouache paints, and now we are using watercolor. Let's get into it. I am going to be testing out red, yellow, and blue versus cyan, yellow, and magenta. That's right, it's the primary color challenge watercolor edition. With the gouache, there was a lot of troublesome comments about the fact that the primary colors didn't seem to be quite primary colors. I completely agree. The cyan and magenta, super dark. Didn't seem to be quite primary. Don't know what that was about. So I've tried to curate my own watercolor choices. I don't know how perfect they're going to be. I tried my very best. With that being said, let's get into swatching these suckers. I want to see just how they compare to the gouache. Hopefully I did a little bit of a better job at choosing the colors. We shall see. Here we go. So I know with the gouache, the CMY wasn't quite up to any of our standards, honestly, but I am feeling so much happier with the watercolor. Honestly, just looking at the red, yellow, and blue compared to the CMY, I am just like, it's almost like looking at two different art supplies. The purple on this side is just muddy and sad. Look at this purple, it's insanely obnoxious. Everything I hate about purple, but I'm very excited about it because it just looks so good. These are so different. I'm super excited to create an illustration, sort of illustrating the difference between these two colors being so vibrant and, you know, a little bit more earthy. Nothing wrong with that. So let's get into it. Only gouache challenge, I was actually expecting the watercolor challenge to be exactly the same. I don't know if it's because I chose my own primary colors to work with, or if it's just because the medium itself is so different that this just felt so different. Either way, it's the same challenge, but this felt like a completely different challenge. So previously in the gouache challenge, I really wanted to focus on being able to mix all of the colors. I'm talking skin tones, secondary colors, yada yada yada. I wanted to show that you don't have to have every single color in a set to create every single color. I also include the colors white and black with the gouache challenge, and with the watercolor challenge, I actually didn't use white or black. White watercolor is a little bit useless because you kind of depend on the white of the paper to begin with, and black, I just kind of wanted to make this illustration as colorful as possible. So going into this piece, I created a cat that was holding a paintbrush and a paint bucket, and I just wanted to create a super colorful, vibrant illustration of a cat. I just wanted to focus on using the primary colors mainly, and then also using the secondary colors. I didn't really want to worry this time around about creating skin tones. Like I mentioned before, I didn't use black. Well, as you can see at this point, I didn't use black paint. However, I did use black fine liner. Maybe that's why I felt like I didn't want to use black paint to mix with, but I just really wanted to focus on these illustrations being super vibrant. And although black can be very useful with mixing, I don't know. With watercolor, I kind of feel like using black doesn't actually help with skin tones. It was very useful with the gouache, but I just felt like black was going to muddy all of the colors, and I didn't feel like using it at all. In fact, mixing the red, yellow, and blue with the primary color of red, yellow, and blue, it created quite the gray. As you could see, the purple was so deep and dark that it was almost a black in of itself. So I actually used that to create a gray to fill in the paint bucket. The purple was just so muddy. I don't know if it's me. I actually think it might just be the fact that blue and red aren't the best colors to make a purple, because the purple of the blue and red in this watercolor is so muddy and sad. It's just, personally, I like it because it's earthy, it's not vibrant and obnoxious, but it just turned out so sad, and I almost wanted to avoid mixing purple as much as possible because of that. But like I said, it created the perfect bucket color to just mix all the colors together, and look at that, look at that, look at that gray. It's a gray, perfect for the bucket. With the gouache, I was not able to mix such a color, so I was really surprised at this gray. Maybe that's partially why I didn't feel the need to use black, because mixing all the colors made the perfect black. Now with watercolor, especially compared to our gouache, because you can add water and create lighter colors in different tones, it was actually really useful to just sort of experiment with that. You can add more watercolor and create a darker color. You could add more water and create a sort of brighter, more colorful color. Watercolor is definitely easier to work with in that aspect, though I do feel like gouache is a lot easier to work with when it comes to blocks of color. Honestly, I felt like our first RYB section was very cute, colorful. I was enjoying it. So I moved on to our CMY. Talk about the colors that I chose in this illustration. So for our background circle, I thought it would be best to use blue because we could make the cat a yellow tabby. It would complement that sort of orangey yellow to the blue. Had I chose red, I felt like the orange/yellow of the cat would blend in too much. If I made a yellow circle, a blue cat would be fun, but I was thinking yellow cat. It would really complement that blue. I was looking forward to it. I put a lot of bubbles of paint just to sort of incorporate the secondary colors, have different parts where they overlapped. I wanted to make sure that we had the primary colors at their primary, mixing with each other and creating the secondary colors, because I knew that our character wasn't going to include all of the secondary colors. Originally, I was thinking about making the cat all secondary. Orange cat, purple ribbon, green. Okay, maybe not green. I don't know what I was going to make green, but I do have some green in there. But when I was reminded of how depressing that purple was with the red, yellow, and blue, I thought, you know what? We're gonna make the red ribbon around the cat's neck because that purple is just so sad. But it works because our cat is very warm. I think it's very cute. I honestly think this illustration turned out so freaking colorful, so vibrant. It's so fun. It definitely has a different vibe than our gouache challenge. I think it's just so interesting that even though it's the same challenge, we're using primary colors. Somehow, something about the feel of this illustration is just so different, and I love that. Oh, and I will add, the tape sort of ripped away the RYB paint, so that was kind of sad, but I still had fun with this illustration. That being said, the watercolor definitely sort of went over our inking, so I had to go back over that, sort of reinforce our black inks. Added some details of the fur, and there it is. We have a super colorful primary and secondary cat. Look how bright this illustration is. I love it. I don't normally work bright when it comes to watercolor, but using CMY makes me kind of wonder if maybe I've been approaching watercolors wrong all this time. Who the heck knows? Thank you so much to everyone who supports my shop or even checking it out, KaseyGolden.com. And of course, a huge thank you to my patrons for all of your monthly support. I super appreciate you guys. If you want coloring pages, early access to my videos, secret live streams, and more, check out my Patreon in the link in the description. Thank you guys all so much for your support. And thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!